Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Rico Report, brought to you by the Buffalo Fanatics. Was good? What's happening, everybody? Listen, while you guys are jumping into this room, do me a favor, hit that, smash that, hit that like for your boy. Let's get these algorithms pumping again. Let's get this thing going because we are officially, I don't normally like to jump into draft talk right off the rip because there's going to be a lot of it on a daily basis of mock drafts and everything in between. So we're getting into it. And right now, the conversation being had, do we really need to go another receiver? Are we there? Are we doing it? Because that's been the conversation. And it's a fair one. It's a fair conversation to have because we know every year it's the same old thing. Did we give Josh Allen enough? Some folks are saying we've given him enough. Get the job done. And I've transitioned to that point. And then I had to kind of check myself and say, well, hold on a second. Everyone's trying to equip their quarterbacks with a premium receiver. You just saw the Seattle Seahawks just give a boatload, an absolute boatload of cash to JSN, Jackson Smith-Njigba. $160+ million, making $42 million a year when his new contract begins. I know some folks are trying to say, hey, well, it's really a 6-year deal worth $32 million. However you want to slice it, he is the highest paid receiver in the game, over and above Jamar Chase, which is, we know as the number one guy in the game. Now JSN is. When does it ever stop? When does it stop? Well, it's not going to. The NFL is clearly telling you and showing you it's not going to happen. So while other teams are equipping their quarterbacks with that star, the Bills have to be part of that as well. And they did so by helping the cause. And by helping the cause, they brought in, obviously, DJ Moore with a second round draft pick given up to attain the services of DJ Moore. And I'm not mad at it. I think there was a necessary move because could you imagine if the Bills are sitting in this position without a bona fide receiver that can command number one targets? And we're going into the draft with the 26th pick. I know there are some good prospects out there. However, you can go in not having to reach. You can actually sit there and allow something to come your way, right? Taking the best receiver available or best player available. You're not having to reach. And by acquiring DJ Moore, it allows the Bills to kind of be in a solid position. So with that 26th pick, it is going to be a fascinating one. Now, I will tell you this. I'm in on one defensive player as of right now. Like I said, I'm just really going to be diving into it and trying to really get into see what players fit with this Bills defense, what players fit with this Bills offense, and where exactly and who exactly would I like. I have one guy in mind defensively, but I was telling the group chat today, I cannot do this to myself again. You guys already know how I was at a few years ago when Breece Hall, and I really thought the Bills were going to go after Breece Hall. I really did. And I had all my hopes were in that basket for Breece Hall. And when we didn't take him, I was crushed. You guys saw that. You know that. I vowed to myself, never again will I fall in love. Never again will I fall in love with a draft prospect because my team will always disappoint me and take the guy that they weren't supposed to take. Now, am I absolutely thrilled that we actually have a banger of a running back in James Cook? 1,000%. I love it, right? Ain't nobody gonna tell you any different. I'm a big fan. You guys have seen it. I've signed the apology letter. Let's be done with it. Crack your jokes off. Get your jokes off. But you guys already know what time it is, man. We're on board. We're all in. We're all in our guy, Breece. And that's how it's going to be. Now, excuse me, Breece. I say Breece. We're all in our guy, James Cook. Now, before we get into some prospects and before we get into who could fit the Bills, and what needs to happen at pick 26. We need to recap on what the Bills have done this offseason, so we kind of have an idea of where we have come thus far, right? The draft is around the corner in less than 30 days, so there's going to be a lot of things going on. But how did this all begin? Well, here's how it is. So it's the full offseason recap, right? So we went ahead and surprised a lot of folks when we traded for DJ Moore, right? His contract was a burden, I guess, for the Bears. The Bears have two young receivers that they're trying to groom and bring up, and financially just makes sense, right? Luther Burden is out there, as well as Rome Odunze, and they got their big time tight end and Lovelace. Like they're doing it. They've Cortland Love, excuse me, I said Lovelace, Loveland. They're doing what they're supposed to do. Get your young guys prepared. But the Bills are in a different position, right? We got a veteran quarterback. We have a team that is getting younger, but the goal is still to win the Super Bowl. And we still have a roster good enough to compete. And that's the big thing, right? We're not in rebuild mode like a lot of these other teams are. We're not the Kansas City Chiefs where we have to kind of almost do a mini rebuild when you still have a franchise quarterback. We're not in that position. We're still retooling. We're renovating a little bit. We're moving some furniture around, but the house is still intact and we're still ready to go and be a big time contender for the Super Bowl. So DJ Moore was a move that I feel the Bills needed to make, whether you want to call them desperate or whatever you want to call the Bills, it needed to be done. And sometimes you've got to make some desperate moves in order to save yourself from having an epic collapse. And we don't want that. We're not looking for that. So DJ Moore coming to the squad was a big time acquisition, in my opinion. Is receiver still on? Is it still on the forefront? 100%. Just because we drafted, just because we signed DJ Moore doesn't mean we stop right there and say, hey, DJ Moore is going to hold it down with Keon Coleman and Josh Palmer. And bro, it still doesn't, for some folks, move the needle. And I'm going to somewhat agree. DJ Moore is a big time acquisition. But if DJ Moore goes down, we just get right back to square one. Do we not? We're right back to Josh Palmer, Keon Coleman, Kincaid if he's healthy, Khalil Shakir. And then we're looking for a free agent to bring in to try to button up the back end of the receiver room. We're done with that. I think Josh deserves a little bit more respect than that. And I think Brandon Beane understands that. Whether you want to blame this on McDermott because McDermott's rigid ways and he wanted a certain offense to look a certain way and did not, I don't know. We don't know the details. It's all speculation at this point. But now all eyes are on Brandon Beane and our guy Joe Brady. So we're about to find out what these two are going to put together this draft and see where they go. But so far, this offseason, some might say this was a pretty damn good offseason. If you think about it, we filled needs at the receiver room. We filled the need with Bradley Chubb at the defensive end room. And some folks are saying that was probably one of the better defensive ends in free agency other than Hendrickson being available and obviously the Raiders having Max Crosby that got traded but never really left. So the really true, I guess, end or edge player that was really available was Hendrickson. But whether we were in on Hendrickson or not, or that he saw us as a viable option, neither here nor there. We got Bradley Chubb. It seems like so we've had this guy on our radar for a while now, and we now have him. And don't forget, this is a defensive end that was on a poor team, the Miami Dolphins last year, and still put up 8.5 sacks. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Bradley Chubb is able to do with these Bills. So DJ Moore and Bradley Chubb were the two biggest acquisitions in terms of monetarily biggest acquisitions on the squad. Love seeing that. We gave up that 26 second round pick for DJ Moore. We bring in Bradley Chubb. We brought in CJ Gardner-Johnson. So the Bills were able to bring in some good, solid pieces to remain, for lack of a better word, relevant and competitive. We still want to do that because we did lose some pieces, but we lost some older veteran pieces that were part of the McDermott era. So now there's a new sheriff in town defensively. So the attitude changes. The vibe is going to change. So you're already seeing the difference immediately. So that being said, there were a lot of moves made this offseason. Taron Johnson being traded to the Raiders. We see that. We acquired a sixth round pick for Taron Johnson. Obviously, CJ Gardner-Johnson coming through, Geno Stone coming through. So we've kind of buttoned up the back end of that defense, which I'm actually very excited about going into this draft, right? So now you add that with the likes of Ed Oliver, Deion Walker, Michael Hoyt returning, and he was a buzzsaw for us last year before he got hurt. Bradley Chubb coming in. I understand people saying, hey, he's 29 years old and he's had multiple surgeries and so on and so forth. But he comes in and he's healthy and he does what he's supposed to do. This is a much bigger upgrade, in my opinion, over the likes of Bosa. I know folks are saying, but this is a Bosa move. I absolutely disagree. I think you're going to get a lot more out of Bradley Chubb than we got out of Joey Bosa. I think Joey Bosa was just worried about kind of staying healthy and being on the field. And he proved that. Whether he returns to Buffalo, who knows? But apparently he's not trying to take a pay cut to go play with his brother. So he's still looking to be handsomely paid. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen per se, but that's where we're at right now. So the Bills had some big moves to make this offseason. We re-signed our own center in McGovern, one of the actually the second best center that was in free agency, and we brought him back to the squad. So that was a big move. So Bradley Chubb, re-signing our center, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Geno Stone as a depth piece, DJ Moore. Listen, Brandon Beane was busy. So you got to give him some love for that. And let's not forget, we brought in D. Alford as well from the Atlanta Falcons, So he'll be assuming the role at the nickel position, instinctive and a ball hawk, and he's going to go after that football. So that you can already see the mindset of what this defense is going to be like. Take the ball away. So it ties back into that 26th pick. If you see what we've added to the defense in free agency, I mean, wouldn't it make sense to focus on continuing to strengthen the best unit of the team, and that's the offense? If you will keep your fastball, you gotta go 26, right? You gotta take a receiver at 26. That's the way I look at it. And with that being said, we've lost some guys as well, right? We just saw AJ Epinesa get signed by the Browns for a very cheap contract. Taylor Rapp is still, I believe, a free agent. David Edwards is going obviously to the Saints. So there's been some movement. So the draft picture becomes a little bit more clear for these Bills. So now it comes down to, we got DJ Moore. What now? Now, here's the biggest thing. If you guys have not been living under a rock, DJ Moore's contract there was a little bit more clarity on DJ Moore's contract. So if you look at what they were able to do, according to SpotTrack, Beane kind of finagled that contract a little bit when he brought DJ Moore. So everyone was worried about him being paid $27 or $24 million a year, this, that, and the third for 4 years. He's going to be 31. He's going to be 32. And we were all losing our minds. Not me. I actually didn't care. I didn't give a rat's whether he was 31 or 32. These boys can still ball out. Players these days are playing much longer. Just go take a look at Mike Evans. Mike Evans has been playing very hard until just last year, obviously. But he's going to be 32, 33? These guys, he's been consistent. So she's like, Rico, you said living under a rock. Well, listen, man, some people have been living under a rock sometimes. They don't know. So with our guy, DJ Moore. So Brandon Beane kind of, I wouldn't say weaseled his way, but he kind of figured out a way to kind of, ease the tension a little bit. So if you guys haven't realized, Brandon Beane put in there in his contract that 2 years, these 2 years is going to be guaranteed. You're getting your money. You're getting your bread. I think we're going to get the best out of DJ Moore these first 2 years of the contract. But on the back end of that contract, the team put an option in as if he declines, or they put it in as an injury, where injuries start to take place and they have the option to move on and not pay him his full contract and pay him only the $15.5 million. So they saved themselves about $8 to $9 million in that third year when it comes to DJ Moore. So that's their, I don't want to call it an out because you're still going to pay. You're still paying, but you're not going to be paying that 24 mil if he declines or he gets hurt. Because I mean, that's where, you know what I mean, guys start to kind of slow down a little bit, right? Some guys are legit and they maintain themselves like the LeBrons of the world, right? NFL is a little different, but you guys catch what I'm saying. So it's a good move by Beane. It's safe for DJ Moore. He understands, listen, I got to ball out. I got to ball out the time that I'm here in Buffalo. I got to ball my ass off. And that's what's going to happen. And Brandon Beane constructed it in a way where we're going to monitor. Let's monitor how you do, and then we'll go from there. So that's why picking receiver at 26 is important, because if DJ Moore isn't what what we would like him to be at age 30, 31, then there's that out. So now if we move on, kind of what the Bears have done, they got two young receivers ready to spring up and get going. We just don't want to be caught with our pants down and not ahead of the game. So it just makes sense to make that pick at 26 a receiver. Now, unless there's someone that you absolutely love at 26 over receiver, which we'll discuss in just a little bit, then listen, all the power to you. But if it doesn't work out, boy, oh boy, Bills Mafia will be on your behind. They will absolutely be on your behind. So that being said, we understand what was taking place, obviously. So with the DJ Moore, structurally, it's a 2-year deal. What it pretty much becomes 2-year deal with two option years that team controls on the back end. So Brandon Beane can decide to finagle and do what he needs to do. So with the conversion of the first year, making him get from 24 mil down to 6.75 mil, saving 17.5, he finagled some things. So that allowed us to kind of get under the cap. And right now, the Bills currently are sitting at just a little shy over $13 million under the cap. So we thought that potentially there would be a move. Brandon Beane was trying to make maybe 1 second move or a final move, if you will. But it seems as though he's just going to chill out and wait it out and see what goes down. So the case for receiver. Can we make a case for a receiver? Is there a receiver that you guys are absolutely infatuated with, or is there a receiver that you think I should be looking at? So I got a few receivers that I want to bring up and make a case for at pick 26. Now, this is if the Bills decide to keep the pick 26. I know some folks were thinking maybe we could trade back. I was of that mindset, but right now for these exercises, we're going to stick at 26. I might even jump in and do a mock draft with you guys, or I might save it for another show. So let's keep it rolling. So pick 26. Right now, I'm looking at it in two ways. It's either a receiver or an edge. I think a lot of us are looking at it that way, or even squeaking a linebacker in there as well. But I'm looking at it in that regard. It's an edge player or it's a receiver. And right now, there are some options at 26 at receiver. So who do we like? Well, here's my long shot. I am infatuated with Jordan Tyson. I know folks are saying, yo, that's out of our league. We are not gonna get him. There's only one thing that stands out. He is known to have some injuries. He's got a laundry list of injuries. And I know my man, the Thigh Doc, broke some down. Actually, not Thigh Doc, excuse me. It was my man, Bobby, broke down some of the injuries. I was like, golly. I mean, I didn't realize it was that bad. I knew that he was nicked up here and there, but I didn't realize the amount of injuries that he's had. So, like, if you're looking at the key injuries, in 22, Colorado, he suffered a severe season-ending knee injury, tearing his ACL, MCL, PCL. In 23, he continued rehab from 22, and he re-injured himself and missed almost the entire season. In 24, suffered a broken collarbone during the season, causing him to miss time, including the college football playoffs. 25-26, missed time late in the season with a right hamstring injury and suffered the further left hand hamstring injury in 25. So those nagging little injuries can get to you. Now, I bring up Jordan Tyson. I'm not going to spend too much time on him because there's a very slim chance the Bills have a shot at him. Very slim chance. They're saying he can go in the top 10. They're saying he can go in the top 15. Boy, if he could fall, and I'm wishful thinking here, that's the type of receiver I'm looking for, right? Explosive, off the line, and snags the football. I don't want body catching guys that are waiting for the football. I want you to go out and snag that. I want you to go up and get it. And he's so explosive. He can get downfield. He can go across the middle. He's a little thinner than I would like, but at the end of the day, that boy explosive, man. And I think he's one of the more explosive receivers in this draft. So that's my favorite receiver. Now, I had to bring him in there because that's the type of receiver I'm looking for. And Tyson out of Arizona State kind of gives me that, right? So does he fall to 26? No. Most boards are having him go between as early as like early 10s between 10 and 15s, as late as maybe 22nd. But could you imagine if he can slide back down to 26? I would be super excited. And that offense, I'll tell you right now, you put Jordan Tyson alongside DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, Kincaid, James Cook, bro, you're looking at we're already a top 10 offense, top 5. Bro, that'd be a very difficult offense to stop with a guy like him. So that's why I'm gravitating towards adding firepower to the offensive room alongside Josh Allen. So why would I love a guy like Jordan Tyson? Well, listen, man, it's just his feet, man. Pierre and I were talking about it, man. His feet, he's got quick feet. He's like ocho cinco. Off the line, you're gone. And that's the type of stuff that I'm liking with this guy. So could he fall to 26? It would be a dream, but I don't think it's going to happen. So what was he looking at? What, 61 receptions, 711 yards in 2025, 8 touchdowns in 9 games. So imagine if not for the hamstring injury, how great he could have been, right? So before that injury, in 2024, he had 75 catches for 1,100 yards. So you know that he's explosive and he can make things happen. So those are the things. I'm not spending too much time on Jordan Tyson because there's a chance we don't get him. But boy, if we do, this would make this a very fascinating prospect for the Bills. Now, one prospect that's been talked about is Mr. Denzel Boston. I don't know how y'all feel about Denzel Boston, but Denzel Boston, now that is someone that I'm paying attention to. Denzel Boston is a big body receiver that most teams are coveting, right? The big body guy that can go up and get it, contested catches. He's a touchdown machine. That's what you want. 6'4", 210 pounds. He's a red zone guy, right? And some folks are like, well, isn't that what Keon's there for? Well, I'll tell you right now, we bring in a guy like Denzel, it really does make someone like Keon obsolete, where now you're looking at maybe moving Keon, or they find ways to utilize both these players. So a guy like Denzel Boston would be huge, right? Out of Washington. And honestly, like, it just makes sense, right? A guy that Josh does not have to worry about, if I throw it up, you're not going to go bring it down, i.e. Brandon Cooks. If I throw it up, I know you're coming down with it. And this is what a guy like Denzel Boston does for you, right? 62 receptions in 25, 881 yards, 11 touchdowns, 14 yards a pop. He ain't the fastest, but he can definitely get down the field, right? PFF graded him at 87.6, and he was actually amongst the top 10 in all of FBS as one of the best wide receivers in the game. So does context matter in all this? Yes, it does, right? Listen, he played at Washington. You saw who he was behind. Jalen Polk at Washington, Rome Odunze at Washington, right? Jalen McMillan. So, like, he was behind some guys. So he had to kind of wait his turn. And both years as starters, all he's done is be consistent and being reliable. And what has Buffalo and Josh Allen needed? What have they needed out of their receivers these last couple of years, right? Well, I'll say since Stephon Diggs left. Consistency, reliability. And that means staying on the field, being on the field. I would love for Kincaid to be on the field, because once he's on the field, he's reliable, he's dependable. but we can't rely on you to be on the bench all the time because you're nursing a knee and you're nurse. We need someone that's going to be on the field constantly. So that's why having a Denzel Boston on the squad, right? 6'4", big, huge, 10-inch hands. Like those are the type of receivers that you want on your squad. You want to be able to bring that to this team. And that's the strength that you get from this guy. So what? He had 52% contesting catch rate on targets, red zone nightmare, fade routes, back shoulder throws, right? That's what we want out of Keon. This is what we wanted out of Keon. So Denzel Boston coming through really does give us that, right? He'll use his length, what we wanted out of Keon. And one of the things is he doesn't drop the football. And that's the stuff that Buffalo needs. That's what Josh Allen needs, because we know when Josh Allen finds a target that he can rely on and depend on, bro, they're like this. They're like this. They're going to make that work. We've seen it happen. Cole Beasley, Josh, they made it work. Stephon Diggs, they made it work because I can depend on you. You are going to be where you're supposed to be when I need you to be. And that's what we've kind of lacked these last couple of years. We've been tinkering with this offense, but I think we get something solid with the likes of Denzel Boston coming to Buffalo. So not a whole lot of drops. He's reliable in that regards, and his route tree could be better, but this is the NFL. This is where you got to get developed. And if you develop into something that's great, this helps everyone. This absolutely helps everyone. So to me, Denzel Boston being an option for the Bills has me excited. I hope it has you guys excited because I'm all over that. So Denzel Boston, what are your thoughts on Denzel Boston to the Bills? Do we like that with pick 26? Because that's the big one, right? Some folks are not really kind of they don't know. They're that 26th pick has got everybody in a frenzy. Do we go defense? Do you take a linebacker at that position because we do need linebacker, or do we? Does Bernard and Dorian Williams make up the linebacker room and we're content and we're good? Those are the questions that a lot of people are going to be wondering and asking questions about, but I'm here for it. That's why that's the reason we're here. So a little bit more about our guy, Mr. Denzel Boston. So we talked about his strengths. We talked about what he can bring to the team. So how and why does he fit with Buffalo? I think that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. How do we get him to fit with Buffalo? Well, here's the deal. He ain't going to burn you. All right? We already know that. We've established that he's not no 4-3 guy. He's not no 4-2 guy. He's not going to burn you downfield. But what he does is give you a presence. He gives you a target. And that's what you're going to get. So if Moore does go down, we already have someone established and ready to go. That's why we were discussing, man, if DJ Moore goes down, are you content with Josh Palmer? Are you content with us bringing a free agent in and Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman and running it back with Keon? I mean, I know they said that Keon's working hard, but we got the same just last year, right? Working hard. We got one game out of him, and then that was it, right? We didn't get a whole lot. So those are the things that work that I'm contemplating, right? How does he fit with Buffalo? If Moore goes down, is he someone that can be the true receiver threat? I think he can be. He can do that. He's physical. He can get him into the red zone. We're going to be in the red zone all day, every day. How many times did you see us give a throw the football up for a guy to just come down with it and catch it? It's not a whole lot. We didn't really do that. We didn't have the guy to do that. So this legitimately gives us a red zone threat. And that's what Josh Allen's been missing. A massive catch radius guy that they tried to do with Kelvin Benjamin, but Josh wasn't accurate. Josh was still kind of, working his mechanics. But now that Josh got his mechanics down, you have someone like Denzel Boston that could really come in and handle business. So could that be the pick at 26? Now, he's got some weaknesses, folks. We already talked about it. He ain't got that speed. That toss speed is not elite. If you're gonna judge it by Madden speed, his speed is probably gonna be like an 85. 85, maybe 86, right? You might be dealing with that. So just know that his route tree is solid. He ain't gonna burn you, but you know that he's gonna catch that football, and that's what you need, reliability, right? So he's got that size over the speed. So if teams are trying to figure him out, it's going to be tough. You're going to have to get your toughest cornerback to man up on him and go mano a mano. And this guy is one. He's one to win these reps. So now here's the problem with this. Teams were able to kind of key on him in 24. Production dipped a little bit. Obviously, you know who is playing behind. But he's also had some injury flags. So double sports hernia. He had that a little bit. So you got to keep that in mind. But who hasn't been injured playing football? Everyone's got these they're banged up here and there. So that's going to happen, right? But he had the double sports hernia in 25. He had ankle issues a little bit late. So that kind of hindered him just a tad. But he's more comfortable winning in the man-to-mans. And that's the biggest thing, right? We need that man-to-man beating that and getting off the line. Too often we're getting jammed off the line and Josh is looking at your way and now he's scramble drill. We need someone that's going to understand where he needs to be. DJ Moore understands that purely. Now you bring in a rookie like this, I think this bodes well for the Bills. So I like Denzel Boston. My question to y'all in the chat, does he do it for you? Does Denzel Boston at pick 26 do the trick? You guys let me know. Tell me yay or nay in the chat, and then we'll go from there. So that's the case for Denzel Boston. Now, the one name that I've been hearing and seeing, I see it a lot in Bills mock drafts, WGR, is, oh shoot, you guys are saying nah? Yo, my man said, yo, hell no, I'm not going with no Denzel Boston. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, folks. Be ready for a Denzel Boston name call. If Brandon Beane is really trying to kind of give Josh and this offense an absolute like dominant threat, right? DJ Moore on one side, Khalil in the middle, and you got Josh Palmer and obviously the likes of Denzel. But if you're like, no, hell no, I'm not doing that. My man said, nah, I don't want it. Shoot, no way. Okay. All right. Well, maybe you guys will like the next one. And that is prospect number 3, KC Concepcion. All right. He's a Latino. I don't know where he's from, but my boy from Texas A&M, 5'11". See, everybody's on that train, right? But why? I had to do my research on Casey because I didn't understand the hype. And that was without me watching film, right? Just a couple clips I see from here and there, but I never really dove deep. So I did a little bit of diving in my man KC. And I understand why y'all like with KC. I understand it. So let's talk about it. Texas A&M, 5'11", $190. I like that size. For me, the ideal size that I like in a receiver, I don't necessarily need him to be 6'4", 6'5", like Megatron. I don't necessarily need that, right? Megatron is a different cat. That boy he could do everything. My ideal size for a receiver, between 5'11" and 6'1". The ideal size, listen, you give me Sammy Watkins size, I'm with it. That's the last receiver that the Bills have drafted that I was like, bro, if we can draft another Sammy Watkins, bro, I'd be happy. Could KC be the next Sammy Watkins? And could he be there at pick 26? And is looking like it. Let's get into it. So here's the deal. Third prospect, KC Concepcion. I got my notes right. So he's a different kind of receiver than the two that I mentioned. Obviously, the two were 6'2", 6'4". One was a burner that can get downfield. Obviously, Denzel Boston was more of a possession type receiver. KC is not like any of those two. Okay. 61 receptions in 2025, 919 yards, 10 touchdowns. This is one thing I like. 15 yards per catch. A massive jump from 8.7 the year before that. So they obviously made it a point to use Mr. Concepcion, right? Led the SEC in receiving touchdowns, won the Paul Harong Award, college football's most versatile player. 2 punt return touchdowns. The dude does it all. He does everything. My man said, yo, Concepcion, no matter what. Golly, you guys are liking him that much. All right, let's keep it going. See, now here's someone that says, yo, I think KC's overrated. He's not a first-round talent, left a lot of plays on the field. That's another way to look at it. But I don't see a whole lot. I don't see a whole lot of those things happening. By the way, shout out to my man Slick Crook, realizing I got my glasses. Yo, I got these new glasses, boy. How rate these out of 10 for me, by the way. Just hashtag glasses and rate them out of 10. Because my daughters were hating on me. They're saying, yo, you look like a goof. I was like, bro, you tripping. I went to work with it. I got a whole bunch of compliments on it. So, yo, y'all feeling these? Y'all feeling them? Slick Crook, I love you, bro. I love you, bro. You show me some love, man. I love it. All right, let's get back to Casey Concepcion. So, 5'11", $190. That's the prototypical size of a receiver that I like, personally. Because you can send these guys outside. You can set them in the slot. You can line him up in the backfield. You can have him punt returning. He does it all. Here's my challenge. Here's what I struggle with. You're bringing in a guy somewhat similar to what Khalil Shakir does. So you got two dudes that are kind of similar to one another. I'm not saying it's a problem, but I want someone that's kind of different than everybody. I mean, look, DJ Moore is completely different. There ain't nobody on the team like DJ Moore. Nobody's on the team like Keon. Keon's 6'4", you know what I mean, 215-ish. You know what I'm saying? He got some size on him, right? There's not a whole lot of guys like Khalil. But you're bringing a KC Concepcion on the squad, you kind of bringing another Khalil in there. So that's the case that I'm seeing right now. So big year in 2025, 61, 919 yards, 10 touchdowns, 15 yards per catch. So huge jump, okay? Here's the background. He was ACC Rookie of the Year at NC State as a freshman. 71 catches, 839, 10 touchdowns. Then he transferred to A&M and did the same damn thing. So consistent. I like it. Electric with the ball. Here are the strengths that you need with Buffalo. Picture him with Josh Allen, James Cook, and Joe Brady's offense. Don't look at college tape as much. Picture him in this offense and what he could be. Okay? Hear me out. Electric with the ball in his hands. We need that. Yak specialist. How many times do we need someone to kind of get the football and do more with it? The guy that's known for the yak on the team is Khalil Shakir. You add another guy that people got to worry about, that's a big deal. Electric with the ball in his hands. He's a yak specialist. Yards after catch. Cuts without losing speed. Boy, that's the type of stuff that I appreciate with a receiver. There's some guys that make a cut, it slows them down, and boom. You need smooth transitioning receivers. That way they don't miss a beat. They don't miss a break. Josh Allen sees it. Bing. I'm trying to think of a receiver that when they cut, they don't miss a beat. And it's not coming to me right now. But if you're thinking of a receiver right now, you guys let me know, right? Accelerates through traffic. He's got size on him for 5'11", $190 at a receiver. I like that. Can punt return. Great on returns. Advanced route runner. This is the one thing that we need out of all positions on this team. Can you run your route and get open and get separation? The biggest thing that we need is somebody that can get separation. We thought we were going to get that at Josh Palmer, but that brother was on the sideline all year, so we couldn't really get that. So you have DJ Moore that can get separation. Now, if you bring in a KC Concepcion that is known for separation, this is key. Advanced route runner, attacks man coverage with precision, and then finds his spots and sits in the zone. That's what you want. You want somebody that's smart, that can kind of, you and Josh, you and I are on the same page, man. I'm going to see that. I'm going to sit right in that zone, and we good. So now DBs can't sit here and go, yo, DJ Moore, yo, double up. No, sir. Because now you got to deal with Kincaid, a healthy Kincaid. You got to deal with a DJ Moore that will stretch the field, that will command respect. I already said it to you guys before. DJ Moore raised the ceiling of this offense, especially that receiver room. You just need to find a complementary piece that is a beast on the other side. And is KC that guy? He attacks the man with precision. He finds the spots in the zone. He runs a full route tree. Play both the slot and on the outside. What better position receiver that can be in this offense that can do everything? That's what you want. You want to play outside? I got you outside. You want to move inside? What do you think they do with Amon-Ra St. Brown? They move him everywhere. What do you think they do with Jamar Chase? They move that brother everywhere. What do you think they do with Justin Jefferson? They move that brother everywhere. I don't want a guy that can just sit outside and that's all he does. I want you to be able to play everything. So you are a mismatch wherever you go. And guess what? DJ Moore's the same freaking way. So Joe Brady's going to have He's going to have, oh boy, he is going JSN. Oh, thank you, Charles. JSN's the type of receiver that makes a cut. He don't waste no space and no time. One cut, he's still smooth in transition. Why do you think he was almost triple crown? That brother nice. And he got himself a big time payday. So big on that. Big on that. So Casey Concepcion could be the JSN that we're looking for, and he could fall at 26. He finds the spots in zone, full route tree, play both the slot and outside, and they already have him compared to, some have him compared to Ladd McConkey. And some folks, some Bills fans were crying that we didn't get Ladd McConkey. So we didn't get Ladd McConkey just a couple years ago. Shoot, we might have our black Ladd McConkey right here. We call him KC Concepcion. So we'll see how he plays. Now, how would he fit in Buffalo, right? Buffalo doesn't have a true slot playmaker. As much as I'd love to see, I can't, that's a hate. I don't want to hate. Because would he come in and take over as a slot? No, we already have that. We paid Khalil Shakir. So he ain't just going to take over Khalil Shakir. So he's going to have to make himself comfortable moving all over the place, what we just talked about, right? So Joe Brady in his offense and how he does it, you know he likes his gadget plays. You know he likes that screenplay. So now you have two options of two guys that can do it at the same time. So Josh can go left or right. So whenever you see Khalil on one side, you know there's a potential screen going that way. But now that you have Casey and him, now defense has got to realize, okay, the screen's coming, but I don't know where it's coming from. That's the type of player that you're going to get out of KC. That's how he fit into Joe Brady's offense. He's already dynamic. He can do those things, and he can line up everywhere on that field. He becomes the problem, and you have to be conscious of where he is. So special teams value where we know that he does that, and I think he'll find his spot in this offense. Now, here's the deal. Nobody comes in with true strength. You have to have some weaknesses. Some folks might say 5'11 is too small. I don't want a 5'11 receiver. I want a guy that, but for me, 5'11, between 5'11 and 6 feet, 6'1", yo, we're good, right? A buck 90, some might say, yo, that's a little lightweight for the NFL, man. You're not in college no more. But everyone knows how to use their speed. Listen, Marvin Harrison, 6 feet, a buck 75, maybe a buck 80, but that brother knew exactly what he was doing with his size, and you didn't really see him getting hurt. He just understood how to play the game. So we got some physical corners, like a Jalen Ramsey kind of might put a little muscle on that brother. So we're going to see how that plays out when it comes to physicality. Will he develop? Will he kind of get in the gym and do all those things? We'll see that. I had a big issue with James Cook coming out of college being 5'11", a buck 90, but at running back, I was like, I hope that he puts a little bit of weight on, but you see how James Cook runs. He runs right in the teeth of that defense, and he is doing it. So I have no problems with players. They understand their size. When I played, I didn't need to bulk up. I knew exactly how to use my size. I knew exactly how to use my leverage. These guys get it. They understand it. But some might look at his size as a weakness, right? So that's one thing you could look at it, right? His catch radius doesn't have the long arms as a Boston or a Tyson. 9% drop rate. Concentration drops do hurt. And I saw somebody say in the chat, bro, that brother drops a lot of footballs, man. He drops. And that does happen. He's got the case of a dropsies here and there. That's the one thing that kind of turns me off with KZ. There's some moments where a catch that should be easy off the fingertips or not paying attention. So that makes a difference. And if Josh wants to trust you, you got to be there for that brother. You got to be there. But a lot of his strengths outweigh some of the weaknesses he has. So that drop rate does concern me a little bit. The concentration drops do hurt in traffic. Some teams will look at this and say, I don't like that. Some teams might say, yo, he's only a slot receiver. I need him more on the boundary side. So can he play outside and stay outside because we have Khalil Shakir? That's the question. That's the one thing I'm looking at it, because I like the size. I like all of that. But are you drafting another slot? Like I said earlier, you're kind of drafting another Khalil Shakir. Does that fit? Does that work? Well, you're going to have no choice. You're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to figure it out. If you're going to draft a guy like that, figure out how you're going to use him. He's too much of a weapon to not. So will they pigeonhole him as a slot receiver? Doubtful in this offense, because everybody's going to be doing everything. You're going to be outside. You're going to be inside. You're going to be running this. You're going to be all over the place. So that's the one thing that some teams might look at it and say that's concerning. So he's got the highest upside, but the highest risk of the three, right? Out of all three receivers, which one would you rather? To me, I'm still a big fan of Tyson Jordan. I'm still a big fan. Denzel Boston could be the actual pick that the Bills go with. Safe guy that you know will do the job. And I was trying to find a comp for Boston, for Denzel Boston. I wanted to call him David Boston. I wanted to find a comp for Denzel Boston. I was thinking, is he more like a Mike Evans? Think about a Mike Evans. He gives me Mike Evans vibes. Could you imagine if we skip out on a guy like Denzel Boston, and he turns out to be a freaking stud of a player like Mike Evans and gives you 10 plus years, and we skipped out on it because we want someone a little smaller, we want someone a little shiftier. This might be the pick. Denzel Boston might be the pick. So we'll see. My man said, he's more of like a Nico Collins. Shoot, I don't mind that. Nico Collins is all right with me. He's all right with me. I like that. So those were the three. Did Mike Evans did not run a 4.3? Hell no. You lie. You lie like a cheap rug. Let me double check. Mike Evans 40 time. Did he run a 4.3? Hell no. Are you serious? Let me just double check. I knew you were lying. He ran a 4.5, bro. Mike Evans ran a 4.3. I'm like, there's no effing way that you're going to try to dupe me for thinking he ran a 4.3. Mike ran a 4.3. Boy, you tripping. Anyway, good try. There's something called Google. Google lets you know exactly what's taking place. That being said, that's the comp that I have for high-end side Mike Evans. You could be a Mike Evans and he tripping, right? Or he's just some next big receiver that just doesn't pan out in the league and he's out in 4 or 5 years, or he becomes just a depth player. So we'll see. Now, if we do not go with a receiver, or all the receivers are taken, right? The ones that we like, there's a chance that Brandon Beane trades down. By the way, fantastic news. Fantastic news. The draft in the first round, no longer are teams going to be taking 10 minutes to make a pick. You got 8 minutes. You had months to choose who you want to trade for. We don't need 10 minutes to give you guys to make a pick. You got 8 minutes. The NFL allegedly has ruled that they're going to go from 10 minutes down to 8 minutes. I got to confirm that. I only saw the one source. But if that's actually true, man, I'm all with it. Give me 8 minutes. Pick is done. That first round is going to be going. If you can do 8 minutes for the rest of the way and just keep shrinking it and I'll take that all day. Anyway, that being said, 10 minutes down to 8 minutes. I love that. Let's roll. If the Bills do not acquire a receiver at the 26th spot, and I'm not trading this pick down. We're talking as if the pick is going to be made at 26. I told you guys before, I'm going to tell you guys again. Sign me up for Texas A&M's edge rusher, Cashus Howell. Bro, I don't care what people tell me about his arms are short. He's got 30-inch arms. Bro, did you see his motor? Cashus is the real. If they allow this, bro, his draft stock is rising. But if this guy is still available, Bills run up to the podium and bring him, because he stands up. He has his hand in the dirt. His motor doesn't stop. Imagine him in this defense alongside Michael Hoyt's engine that doesn't stop, constantly revving. You just brought in Bradley Chubb. You have Ed Oliver, Deion Walker. You got Greg Rousseau on the other side. I know we lost the likes of AJ Epinesa, but you replace that with a heavy motor in Cashus Howell. Sign me up. 6'4", 245 pounds of pure confident energy. This brother brings it. I love the receivers prospects, but if we're going to go defense, that's the one guy that I'm looking at right now at pick 26, if he's still available. And the chances are They're saying it could be a late round to a second round pick. Bro, sign me up. Sign me up. Now, here's the deal. Cashus, I want to call him Cashus Clay so bad. Cashus Howell. This guy's absurd. Okay? 2025 stats, 11.5 sacks, led the entire SEC, 14 tackles for loss, unanimous All-American SEC Defensive Player of the Year, first Aggie named Walter Camp All-America first team since Myles Garrett. That's the name you want to be compared to. Folks, don't even think about, I'm not sure. You better run to that podium. If you know the receiver is not on your billet, you better get that brother on this team because that's a difference maker. All we want is a guy that says, here, Mr. Allen, the ball returns back to you. The offense can go do what they need to do. A great defense is perpetuated by an even better offense. You keep giving the ball back to the offense and Josh Allen to put points on the board. Let me pin my ears back with my man Bradley Chubb, with my guy Greg Rousseau. Let's get him. I'll take it. That's if the receiver position is not open. Now, what does he bring to the table? Absolute nightmare off the edge. Explosive off the ball. Complete pass rush arsenal. This boy can do it. I'm telling you right now, I don't care about this short arms, man. He makes up for it. Like, they're trying to do Beane, that defensive lineman that with the short T-Rex arms. They're trying to do him dirty. That boy's strong as ever. Don't let that fool you. This guy, Cashus Howell, nightmare off the edge, explosive off the ball. This guy's a pass rush G. Speed, spin move, he gives me Dwight Freeney. That's what he gives me. Dwight Freeney was not known for long arms. Dwight Freeney would kind of set you up, spin move inside, spin move outside, and you are dead to rights. This is what kind of Cashus Howell gives me. I might be overhyping him, but from what I'm seeing, and I'm not just looking at highlights, folks. I'm looking at everything, okay? Love what I see out of him. Sets up his tackles, right? He goes hard in the paint. His bend is nasty work. He'll inside and bend around that, and you're done. It's over with. I saw one. I had to see it for myself. They said 3 sacks in a row. I was like, what game is that he gets 3 sacks in a row? And who the heck is the left tackle? This left tackle got beat 3 different ways with 3 different moves. Bro, sign me up for Cashus Howell if we're not able to get a receiver. All right. So you want to talk about his short arms all you want. Don't care. This guy is proven he gets it done. He's got zone awareness, can hang with the tight ends if you need him to drop back into coverage. This is great for this 3-4 defense that we're going to be running. He's got great punch. His bend around is elite, bro. His motor never stops. Give me Cashus Howell. I like that. Now, how does he fit? Why does he fit with Buffalo? Bro, the Bills have Rousseau. I just talked about Bradley Chubb being on the edge. You got Mike Hoyt, you got Deion Walker, Ed Oliver inside. Bro, how good does it add to this Bills defense with adding a young core piece like this? He would fit perfectly as the rotational edge guy getting ready to rush after the freaking quarterback. That's where the game thrives, bro. You got to get these guys in long, second and long, third and long, and release the hounds. And he'd be one of them getting after your quarterback. That's where his game thrives. You put him next to Rousseau and Chubb, every offensive line in the AFC, bro, they're going to be like, yo, we got to try to figure this thing out. We got to try to figure this thing out. And that's what he would bring to his defense. Now, does he have his weaknesses? Of course he does. Of course he does, right? His shorter arms. That's one thing that people are going to say, hey, you let a tackle like Lane Johnson put his arm around your chest, it's a wrap. You're done for, right? Deion Dawkins, he's got long arms himself. Bop. Those guys with shorter arms, those are the weaknesses. Those are the times where you're like, okay, you wish he had shorter arms, longer arms to kind of jack up, pin guys like a Brian Burns. Brian Burns, you see the length of Brian Burns' arms, boom, he gets you. So I can understand that. His run defense can be a concern, right? I need you. This is where AJ Epinesa was solid. He could set the edge and do his job. We're gonna miss that out of AJ Epinesa, but he's a little undersized. True down, some people say that he's undersized for that true every down edge defender. You know what? It don't matter. We got Rousseau, we got Bradley Chubb. You can rotate in as we go, and as we keep going, you'll get to where you need to be. 30-inch arms. I know that's what everybody's talking about. 30-inch arms. I'm reading my notes, by the way. 30-inch arms is what people are talking about. So will he be able to shed blocks? That's what they keep talking about. Shed blocks. Will he be able to get off the blocks? All those things are a factor, right? Nearly half his sacks in 2025 came in those 2 games. Who does that remind you of? Greg Rousseau. Greg Rousseau had 15 sacks, and he had 5 of them in 1 game, right? So it kind of reminds you of Greg Rousseau. So sometimes I got to calm myself down. That's why you got to watch the film. You got to watch it. Is he really that true of a gem of a guy that can get after the quarterback consistently? 2 of those games, that's where he had his high sack amounts. So those are the things you kind of want to pay attention to. Are you really really the real deal or not? All right. So that being said, 2025 sacks, they came in those games right there. And he's a designated pass rusher. That's what he's known for. Get after the quarterback, right? And he can do that at the next level. But all 3 downs as a starter, that's where he's going to have to develop into that role. So, but in the right system, bro, he could be deadly. So maybe the defense that's going to be creating a lot of havoc in this 3-4 system that we got bringing to Buffalo with Jim Leonard, shoot, that might be it, man. That might be it. So Cashus Howell, one of the guys that I'm looking at that I'm like, yo, sign me up. All right, last but not least, I know y'all been waiting for it. Rodriguez is not going in the first round. Oh, really? Oh, really? All right, let's talk about it. Last one. This is the wild card for me because I thought he might be gone before that. There's a chance that he could be gone before that. Let's roll. Jacob Rodriguez coming into a 3-4 defense. Okay, Texas Tech linebacker. All right, we went from Texas A&M. Now we're going to Texas Tech. 6'1", 230. Okay. How do we feel about a Jacob Rodriguez coming to Buffalo as a linebacker? Are we liking that at pick 26? Is he worthy of pick 26? Don't forget, we don't have a 2nd-round draft pick. So this exercise is strictly picking at 26. Somebody said, yo, we already have a Jacob Rodriguez in Bernard. Some might disagree with you, brother, but let me make my case for a Jacob Rodriguez at 26. It might be a reach, but some folks are saying he could be a 1st-round draft pick. So, wild card pick. I have him as my wild card. So if Jacob Rodriguez is available at 26 and the receivers that you want are gone and you got to pick, if Cashus Howell's there and Jacob Rodriguez is there, are you grabbing anybody? Any one of those guys? Is linebacker the pick to make in the 1st round? Do we need one? Do we actually need one? Because I kind of like Joe Andreessen. I'm not going to lie to you. I like Joe Andreessen. I like Dorian Williams. I think Dorian Williams, you keep him on the field. He's got his weaknesses, but he's definitely got his strength. Don't forget, he had over 100 tackles when he was one of the guys getting started once Matt Milano went down. This guy was leading the way. He was a young linebacker. So a little bit more time, a little more seasoned. Dorian Williams and Bernard might be the 2-man crew that we don't need to even add to that. So we'll keep going. My man Walter says, yo, if Howell had the reach of Rico on this Rodriguez take, he'd go 1st overall. Damn, Walter does not like Rodriguez. All right, let me just make my case. You guys let me know if I'm wrong. All right. So that's why I said he's a wild card, folks. He's a wild card. So Texas Tech linebacker. In 2025, he had 128 tackles, 11 tackles for loss, 4 interceptions, 6 pass breakups. Before I even get to that, let me tell you somebody that was not regarded as a 1st-round talent, linebacker for the Vikings. What's his name? The linebacker for the Vikings, Ivan Pace Jr. Let me tell you something. Ivan Pace Jr. was not someone that people were looking for. Not a big guy, small dude, 5'10", 230 pounds. But I'll tell you right now, dude is a dog. Ivan Pace Jr. is an absolute dog. And you go ask Vikings fans how they feel about Ivan Pace Jr. He's legit. So don't be talking, oh, his height is this and bro, how tall is London Fletcher? You guys saw London Fletcher? You think they give a rat's ass about how tall London Fletcher was? He wasn't a big dude, but he got the job done. That's what matters. If you got it up here and you know where you're supposed to be on that field, I don't got to worry about no height, right? You know where you're supposed to be, and that's what matters. So in 2025, 128 tackles, 11 tackles for a loss, 4 interceptions, 6 pass breakups, 7 forced fumbles. The guy just gets it. Led the entire country. Won the Butkus Award, the Nagurski Trophy, Lombardi Award, and the Bednarik Award, the Bednarik Award. Finished 5th in the Heisman voting as a freaking linebacker. But no, don't give me Jacob Rodriguez. Fellas, come on, man. Do you guys remember the last person who won the Heisman Trophy as a defensive player? Do you guys remember that? Can you guys answer that for me? The last Heisman defensive player, you guys remember? It's been a while. Charles Woodson, 1997. The reason I bring that up is because if this guy was as a linebacker, he finished 5th in Heisman voting. Actually, before Charles, but I'll give you that. My man said Travis Hunter. How can you forget about Travis Hunter? That's how. Well, before Travis Hunter, we'll go all the way back to Charles Wilson. But Travis Hunter, you're right. Anyway, let me keep rolling. If this guy finishes top 5, bro, he doing something right. He absolutely is doing something right. So the reality check is this: analysts are looking at him saying, "Hey, he's a day 2 guy." So late first. Where are the Bills picking? Late first. So 6'1", 230 pounds, undersized, sure. Short arm length causes some disengagement problems, sure. But when you're a dog, you're a dog. His accolades tell you exactly what he is. So if we don't have the luxury of getting him in the second because we don't have a second round pick. So if he's there, shoot, we got to do something. By the way, I feel really bad for Landon Jackson. I mention everybody on this defense, and I always forget about Landon Jackson. I don't know what he truly is going to bring to our team. I really don't. And that's no disrespect. I just don't. So with Jacob Rodriguez, coverage against elite receivers, he might have some challenges. But elite receivers, who's really covering these elite receivers? Not a whole lot. As long as you're where you're supposed to be at the right time, right place, I'm good. But remember, the Bills lost Matt Milano. He's a coverage linebacker. And coverage linebackers, a good one is rare to get. You want one that knows exactly where to be. Funny enough, Bernard does exactly that. So in Jim Leonard's new 3-4 scheme, a linebacker with Rodriguez, turnover instinct, motor, football IQ might be the best fit for this defense. Don't forget, we're going from a 4-3 to a 3-4 scheme. Could it realistically work? He's probably going to be gone before 26. If he slides, shoot, the Bills could be adding a linebacker to the fold. Nobody's going to say tickety boo if he comes in and he's the anchor in that defense that we need. The back end is solid. You see the back end: Gardner Johnson, Bishop, Hairston, and you got Benford. We good on that side. We just got to shore up that front 7. If you bring in a guy like Rodriguez into the fold, maybe that might be the key piece that we need on this defense if receiver is not there. So scheme in this matter is going to matter a lot. So realistically, is he gone before 26? Does he slide to us? Are we jumping on a Rodriguez? Are you in on that? Y'all let me know in the chat. Drop that. Let me know your answer. So here's the deal at the end of the day. What's our final priority? What is your final priority? What do you need to see the Bills do at pick 26? Jordan Tyson's probably going to be gone. I'm sad. I'm heartbroken. I happened to just watch. I'm starting to watch receivers, and I saw this guy. I was like, golly, this guy's nice. And I found out this guy could be top 15, top 20 pick. Might be out of our range. If he's there at 26, run to the podium. If he's there. Then you got Denzel Boston. Might be the best fit for the Bills at 26. Most scheme ready, red zone monster, safest floor for the receiver group. You can't go wrong with a pick like him. Then you got Casey Concepcion. He's got the highest upside, right? Dynamic wild card receiver with yak and return ability. Are you afraid that he might be too much like a Khalil Shakir and we're not getting anything different? Or I don't care what you bring to this team. Just bring me someone that does it right, that knows exactly what they're supposed to do. If we don't go receiver, you got Cashus Howell. We got to address the defense. Got to get a pass rusher and a guy that's got a motor that helps. But we did bring in Bradley Chubb. We do have Landon Jackson. We do have Michael Hoyt. So where does he fit? That's something that we're going to have to talk about. And then Jacob Rodriguez, wild card. Could he be a guy that sits at 26 and we're like, you know what? BPA, best player available. We're just going to grab him and go from there. There's a whole lot happening right now with the Bills at 26. It's important. They need to nail this, especially because we do not have that second round pick. Now, if we trade back, that's a whole different ballgame. I kind of want to play a game here and go and jump in on a quick mock. I haven't done any mocks this year, so this would be my first one with you guys. So I don't know if I want to ruin it that way because I don't know the prospects well enough. So maybe we might do like a 3-round mock draft, right? We're only going to make 2 picks anyway. So the mandate is simple in Buffalo, folks, right? Maximize Josh Allen. That's what it comes down to. If you're trying to win, you got to give Josh Allen every freaking weapon possible to get over the hump. If the defense can't make a stop, the offense is going to get the job done. That's what you initially want at the end of the day. Eventually, the defense is going to catch up, but you want to make sure that this offense is as potent and is ready to go. So maximize Josh Allen. The DJ Moore signing was great. That's a great first step, solid first step. Drafting a receiver at 26 is step 2. If you want to keep the fastball, you got to go and continue to keep the fastball by bringing yourself a receiver, okay? Not because that we're greedy, it's because it's a need. They need to figure out, because if DJ Moore goes down, we're back to square one again, and that will be an absolute disappointment, and that would make the whole offseason a disappointment. To button up this offseason, you got to get yourself your receiver in the first round if your guy is there, okay? It makes sense. It has to be there. Now, no second round pick. Obviously, that's going to hurt, right? So we got one shot to get it down pat. If you don't like it, you could trade back. But right now, the exercise is for us to draft someone in the first round. That's why we're doing this. So here's the deal at the end of the day. We got DJ Moore. You know what he's going to be bringing to the table. Bradley Chubb on a 3-year deal. You know we got CJ Gardner-Johnson, Geno Stone, D. Alford. So we've added to this defense. That's why it's making me lean more that these guys are going to go straight to the offense and just keep that fastball going. I can't see why they don't make that happen. They should. So at the end of the day, I kind of like the Bills to go for receiver in this case. So how do you guys feel about that? Receiver in the first round, or do we shore up that defense since we have a new defensive coordinator that's going to be asking for a whole lot of things? You guys let me know. Let me get a couple super chats in here. I got my man Jam 2020. What up, Jam? What up, kid? He says, yo, you think we're getting rid of Keon if they draft a receiver early? To be honest, I want to give him one more year if he doesn't work that draft. If it doesn't work out, if he doesn't work draft next year. Here's the deal. We were talking about receiver today. Depending on what kind of receiver they bring to the team. If you bring in a Denzel Boston to the Bills, what need do you have for Keon Coleman at this point? Now you got 2 big-time receivers, right? 2 big 6'4" receivers. I mean, if it's cheaper to keep them, call it a day. If you can get some value back, cool. So if we draft him in the first round, look for the Bills to kind of move him day 2 of the draft, and hopefully we can we're not going to get a second round pick, that's for sure, but maybe we can acquire some picks that can get us back into the second round, right? Because if you draft a Denzel Boston, what need of Keon do you have? Or do they value Keon over Josh Palmer? Because Josh Palmer, they didn't build enough with Josh Palmer. He didn't impact the team in the locker room enough, and he didn't impact in the community enough. And I'm guessing, I don't know for a fact, but there's not much you can do in a year unless he has. But there's still a way to get out of that contract with Josh Palmer. After June 1st, I think his cap hit goes from 11.7, which is now, down to 5, maybe a little cheaper than that. So maybe that might be an option. We'll see. My man Jan comes back, says, yo, I've been told we won't be a true 3-4 defense and we'll be more of a mint 5-man surface. Defense, what do you think? McDermott's leftovers are a lot still. I think we're still, I mean, we're going to be, from what I read, I think it was Cover One that broke it down. There's going to be a lot of base defense, but there's the 3-4 defense. You can scheme it any way you want it. You could shift it to an over, you can shift it to an under. Like there's so many things you can do, odds. So it's a defense that's so multiple. So whether we're in that a lot, we'll see. I think from what I understand, Jim Leonard is in base defense about 30% of the time, 32% of the time. McDermott last year was in 37% of the time. So they're very, and don't quote me on the numbers. I know they're similar, but they're not. We're going to be a 3-4 defense, but we're going to have a variation, a multiple, where there's going to be multiple ways of moving guys around, and that's what I'm most excited about. So maybe they got something up their sleeve, and they know what they're doing. I'm looking forward to it. I love to see what it comes down to it. So my man said, yo, I'm higher on Coleman than I am Palmer. I don't blame you one bit. I seriously don't blame you one bit. You guys have heard me. I'm the most disappointed because I thought he was going to be the guy that opens up this offense. Or is it not fair to Josh Palmer that he was hurt and he didn't have a chance to really establish himself? But fam, you're a veteran in the game, man. You know you're not a rookie. I needed you to be right in there, in the move, in the groove, and all that. We didn't get any of that from Josh Palmer. His fault, not his fault. Well, we'll find out if he's still in the squad by June or by trade deadline. So we'll see. We're a minute 12. I'm gonna do a quick little. I'm gonna share my screen. I'm gonna do a quick 3-round mock draft. This will be a mock draft that we do together just for fun. I just want to kind of see what and where we're at. So where do you guys use? You guys use PSN or do you guys use PFN or PFF? Which mocks are you guys using? Because I'm gonna jump into it. Or which do you find is the most accurate? Because some of them are just bogus. Where you're like, what's going on? I had Shedeur Sanders going, like pick. I think they had him like pick 29. Ironically, it's hilarious. But anyways, PSN. You guys use PSN? All right, let's go PSN. Let's go PSN. Let's put a little game here, fellas. By the way, if you guys are still tuning in, you guys are enjoying this, do me a favor and smash that like for your boy. I appreciate that very much. It helps the algorithms. You guys already know that. So hit that like. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe if you're new to this, and all that in between. So let's share my page real quick. I usually go to PFF, but let's just for right now, let's go to PSN. So let me share my screen. I'm gonna make sure you guys can see my screen real quick. Can you guys see that clearly? I'm gonna open it up a little bit more so you guys can see it better. I hope that let me see. Can you guys see that? Yeah, that's much better. All right. So let's mess around with this thing. We're gonna go 3 rounds just for fun. We'll go normal. Consensus. Should we go consensus? ESPN? How would you guys want to do this? Let me look at the chat. What would you guys suggest? Use the consensus? All right, let's go consensus. I saw somebody say consensus, so let's mess around with consensus. All right, so 3 rounds. Let's roll. So right off the rip, Mendoza goes first. Ruben Beane second. Ain't that something, right? Did Ruben gonna go second? Look at that. Receivers are going. Jeremiah Love to the Ravens. That's interesting. Okay. Tyson 18. See, he went early, man. I'm mad. That makes me upset. Cooper to the freaking Eagles, huh? All right, who's trying to trade with me? They want my 28, 26 pick. Yo, you got to take that. Who do they want? Who do they want? That's the real question. And Arizona wants to trade and give me their 34th pick. They want my 91st. They want to give me their 34th or 65th. I don't know if I like that. Let's see. You want my Let's see if we can get a second round pick. 106. That's an early third with the 106 pick, right? Would you guys do that? Would you guys do that trade? Which one would you rather? Or should we just take one? I'm looking at the chat right now. Wait, Rico, tell them to go hit that like button. Hit that like, people. Hit that like, people. Let's go now. I was gonna say trades or no trade. Let's say for the listen, we're not gonna trade. Okay, just for the sake of it, we're just gonna reject everything, and we're just gonna see what's available with the first. So safety Emmanuel McNeil Warren. I've seen him. Okay, let me see. Okay, so what is available? Let's go to the receiver because the receiver is where I'm most interested. So Denzel Boston, obviously available. Casey Concepcion is available. Jeremy Bernard. I know nothing about Jeremy Bernard. I'm going to have to look them up. Chris Bell, I'm doing homework on him now. And Brazel, I'm doing homework. Right? These are some guys I'm doing homework on right now. And Malachi Fields. I saw Jacoby Lane. That's another big 6'4 receiver. I don't know. I don't know if I'm interested in a 6'4 receiver. So let me go to edge. Is my guy still there? Cashus Howell is absolutely still there. Is Mr. Rodriguez still there? Mr. Rodriguez is absolutely still there. So, wow, they have him 56. So we might have an opportunity to get him later on if we trade back. So do we is KC better than Denzel Boston? Is he a better prospect? Is that what the consensus is saying? So, I mean, you guys kind of heard me read up a little bit on Denzel, but 6'4", 212, right? Sat behind Rome Odunze, Jalen Polk, all them cats. We already saw that, right? While not especially twitchy, because that's the one thing that kind of threw me off. He's not twitchy. He's not like a Jordan Tyson whatsoever, but he moves smooth, right? Stacks cornerbacks on the outside, smooth explosion. Like I said, he kind of gives me Mike Evans-ish, but Mike Evans is a high compliment. And then there's Casey Concepcion, right? 6 feet. Oh, they list him at 6 feet. Okay. All right, 196. They give him a little more weight. I'll give him that. It's funny because he's listed at 6 feet, 190. And then down here, they got him at 5'11", 187. So which is it? Right? Consider was able to reclaim the standing in the NFL pecking order. 5'11", 187 pounds. Consider is a human joystick. Is that what we need in Buffalo? That's the real question, folks. Do we need that in Buffalo? His RAS score is not in. I'd love to see what the RAS score for Denzel Boston is if they don't have that either. So let me go back to the chat. How y'all feel? Jeremy is better than both? Trade out of the first? Concepcion or Howell? Bernard from Alabama. I got to do my homework on him, guys. So I'm looking at the chat right now. Brady loves those drag routes. I'd like to trade down with Arizona. KC is the slot. All right, let's go because I'm going by what you guys are saying. So Casey Concepcion will draft him. I didn't do the trade, guys. The trade will be for the next time we mess around. So Casey goes down. I'd like to see Denzel. Where did Denzel Boston go? Did he go to Kansas City? He went to Kansas. Chris Johnson. Oh no, I'm gonna go back and see because can you pause these? I thought you can pause it here. Oh, you can't. Where did Denzel Boston go? Denzel Boston went to Jacob. That's a good pickup. Jacob to the New York Giants at pick 37. Chris Johnson. Where did I see Denzel Boston go? I know I saw his ass. Oh, Denzel Boston went to right to the. Ooh, that's a good pickup for them. All right, so Denzel to the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's resume this bad boy. We're not picking until freaking third round anyway, so hurry this thing up. And then we're not picking till what? 91st? When's our pick coming up? 91st pick. All right, let's roll. Look at all these. See, this is the problem, man. Us being out of the second round, I know we got DJ Moore, and there's not any receivers that's going to be as good as DJ Moore. So I'm going to the second round. So that I'm okay. It's like we drafted DJ Moore. So you got to have that in your brain that, yo, we good. We drafted DJ Moore. I don't know what we crying about. That was the best receiver there. Cool. Once I can get that in my brain, I'm not so triggered by all these names that are gone. So we're just gonna pick 91. I'm rejecting all this crap. So what is available? So right now at receive, we don't need receivers. So let's go defense. Slide on down. Linebacker Deontay Lawson, Aiden Fisher. The one name that I saw us get was Bryce Botker. I saw us somebody kind of got him going to the Bills. Let's go to the edge. See, this is where we got to start doing homework now, because I don't know any of these cats. Who you guys like? Are we do we see anything we like? LB or safety round 3. He said orange or Lawson. You mean Big Citrus? Big Citrus. Let me see. Let's go back up here. Defensive tackle. Oh, looky. Dominic Orange. They call that brother Big Citrus. That boy 6'2", 320. Big Citrus is the ideal nose prototype. 6'2", 320, near 34 inch levers for arms. Golly, 34 inches? God, okay, boy. He can play with natural leverage and attack opposing linemen with power in his pass game. And he can latch, anchor. Listen, we need a nose, and allows Ed Oliver and Deion Walker to do what they do. But then we have TJ Sanders. Man, this is the thing that bugs me. Anyway, let's go Dominic, Big Orange, Big Citrus, and we'll go from there. So that's the Bills pick. I only made the 2 picks from rounds 1 to 3. And we go from there. So Big Citrus and Mr. Casey Concepcion. So that's what we're going to go with for now. Obviously, I'm messing around. Like, I haven't really, and we dove super deep into it. So that's what we're looking at, right? So those are the 2 picks that we made. Obviously, I personally think that if the Bills don't like someone, they're going to move back into the second round, and hopefully they'll get the guy that they want. So we'll see. You know how it is, man. They usually grab someone that we have no idea who that person is. It happens. That's just the way it is, man. So that being said, folks, that was the show. I hope you guys appreciate the show. It was dope. Always come in and chat with you guys. So recapping a little bit, man. 26th pick. We have no idea what direction Brandon Beane is going to go. We have an idea. WGR is all over it. They want receiver. A lot of Bills fans want receiver, and I don't mind receiver. I just want us to keep the fastball. So if we're going to get someone, you need to get someone that's dynamic and that gets the job done, that's reliable, dependable, and is going to help this offense be as dangerous as possible, where it opens up for Kincaids. It opens up for James Cooks. It opens up for everybody to do what they're supposed to do. If the guy that you want is not there at 26, shoot, load up on that defense, bro. Load up on that defense and go get your guy Howell. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So, folks, that's my time. I appreciate you guys. You guys already know that. Draft is less than a month away. What is it? April 23rd is when the draft starts, bro. So know that we will be live, ready to go on draft weekend. We've been doing it the last decade, which is absolutely crazy when you think about it. Almost a decade, actually longer than a decade. So, bro, be ready to hang out with us, man. It's gonna be a long weekend. I'm gonna try to put a team together that knows the draft, and I always try to move things around and curate this where we can have different panels and guests. And if you're one that is really into the draft and you know it and you don't mind being on camera and you don't mind giving your takes, you might have an opportunity to come and join the show, baby. So that being said, that is my time. I appreciate you guys. Smash that like before you guys get out of here. If you guys have not followed us on all social media platforms, go ahead and do that. Y'all know what time it is. If you guys have not, join our Discord channel. Join the Discord channel, man. It's the offseason. That's where all the draft chatter is happening. If you're not on Twitter, cool, but join us in the Discord channel. It's all in the description. All that is there. And do a collab with Dan Mitchell. Oh, Dan Mitchell's my guy, man. So, but we're so busy doing stuff because I still work for Bleacher Report. So I still do videos for Bleacher. So listen, we busy, boy. We're busy, but we're going to do it. We're gonna try to work something out and get things cracking. So get your coffee for the draft, girl. You know it, man. Get your coffee, get going. So it's gonna be there, man. So folks, enjoy the rest of your evening. Is love. We appreciate you. And until next time, it's your boy Reeks. And we'll catch you guys on the flip and enjoy your evening. And we'll catch you guys again I guess on Friday with my man Z-Bot if things don't materialize. But you guys already know it's off season. So we're gonna try to keep it cracking with you guys. Start diving into the draft, man. So we can talk about it. Discord chat's where it's at, so we can discuss these things, and we'll catch you guys on the flip, man. You guys have a good one.